Hi, dear students. A warm good morning to all of you, and let's move on with microbiology. In the previous sessions, we have come across various instruments which are being used, specifically the microscopes and their relevance in the field of microbiology. And with the advancements of microscopes, we are able to find that the different morphological features are being found to be associated with bacteria. And so using microscopes as a tool, today we're going to study the bacterial ultrastructure. So let's see how does it look. If you take a bacteria, they do occur in different shapes. Now the image which has been provided here is a scanning electron microscopic image of different bacteria. And you can see that when they are being magnified, almost here in the SEM it has been magnified about 4800 times in the case of the second one. Okay, and you can see that they are being found to be as rounds, or they are round in shape in the case of the first one as well as in the second one. And the round shape of the bacteria is commonly referred to as coccus. And when you have many cocci together, when you have many coccus, you call it as cocci. Okay. And sometimes in the case of some bacteria, this cocci can appear to be as individually, and some cocci might be two of them together, associate together, or sometimes the cocci will be appear to be as in chain. Like that, different bacteria do exist in different morphological forms as well as in different shapes. So when they are being found to be as round in shape, they are referred to as cocci. And sometimes now here you can see in the C, they might be appear as elongated cells, which have been found to be as rods. So either cocci or rods, but this is not the only shape of a particular bacteria, but there are many more shapes. So you can see that there is just like we people have different facial features and all that. Different bacteria have different shapes, and not only different shapes, the arrangement of different cells would bring about different morphological features towards the bacteria. Now another shape that which we come across under the microscope of bacteria, now this is Vibrio cholera, which is comma shaped. It is a comma shaped or like a curved rod like thing. Okay, you can see the flagella also being attached to this Vibrio cholera. And again, if we move on, you can see that there are sometimes some bacteria which have been found to be spiral shaped. Okay, now Campylobacter jejuni, which is an example of that, is being shown over here. And sometimes throughout the length, okay, there are certain bacteria which have they're called the spirochetes. Okay, they'll be spiral shaped, but they will be having internal flagellar arrangements also. That is, inside the body they would be having flagella arranged in such a way that what would happen is they will be able to move in a more flexible manner with the help because of their spiral shape as well as their flagella arrangement also. Leptospira introgans, that is a spirochete. So you can see that from the cocci, rods, comma, spiral, which is not flexible, but spirochete has been found to be flexible. Uh, we also have a diverse range of bacteria. And here in the D, which is hyphomicrobium, you can see that it is considered to be as a oval or a pear-shaped member, and at the end it is producing a long hyphae. And yet another, many other bacteria do occur as filaments. like actinomycetes or streptomyces all will come under this group of filamentous bacteria. And if we move on, you can see that some of the bacteria also do produce certain fruiting body-like structures. Now, Myxococcus is an example of that. So, a wide range of shapes are being exhibited by bacteria. And there are also bacteria which are like square shaped. Now, certain archaeons or archaebacteria, they are usually primitive bacteria. Okay, and Haloquadratum Walsby or the Walsby's square-shaped bacteria is a archaebacteria which has been found to be square-shaped. So these are the different types of bacteria based upon their shape. Now, whatever be their shape, like it is something of their shape which enables us to identify them. And considering cocci itself, there in cocci, in the basic shape of coccus itself, there would be different types of organisms. Now, sometimes they might occur as a single discrete round, as in the case of micrococcus. Or sometimes the cocci will occur together, that is, two coccus will combine together and they will divide in one plane and the cells will remain attached to each other, and they will produce organisms which are being associated with like two cocci together being associated. Example, Diplococcus. And sometimes the cocci will be dividing repeatedly in one plane and they form chain of cells, as in the case of Streptococcus pyogenes, Lactococcus, Enterococcus, etc. And sometimes it might consist of about four round cells which are being defined at two planes at right angles to one another. That is, micrococcus is an example. That is, they will form a tetrad consisting of four cells. And sometimes the bacteria, the coccus itself, can form grape-like structures by dividing in three different planes. And grape-like structures will be formed. And example you can see in Staphylococcus. And sometimes what happens, they divided it in three planes and they form cube-like configuration consisting of 8 or 16 cells together, which have a regular shape. Example, we have Sarcina. So with the basic shapes which they have, like the cocci itself, the cocci itself will arrange and divide in different way, providing different shapes towards the bacteria. So you have either monococcus, then you can either have some bacteria which are found to be as diplococcus, some which have been found as tetrad, some would be found as sarcina, that is consisting of 8 molecules, or sometimes the cocci can be arranged in the form of chains or in the form of grape-like structures, as we have seen in Staphylococcus. So, by observing the shape of the bacteria under the microscope, we would be able to make a presumptive identification, like probably, okay, what it is, what it could be. If you see Staphylococcus shape, that time you can clearly understand that it is a Staphylococcus. If cocci are being arranged in chains, then we make an interpretation that it is a Streptococcus. Now, just like the spheres itself, the rods or it's also called the bacilli. Okay, these bacilli also, they also can arrange in chains. When they arrange in chains, they are called the streptococcus. Sorry, streptobacillus. Okay, and Bacillus anthracis, which causes anthrax, is an example where the bacilli are being arranged in chains. And sometimes these they might occur as the rods itself might occur individually, either in flagellated forms or in non-flagellated forms. Now we have flagellated rods as in the case of Salmonella typhi. And sometimes the rod-shaped bacteria might be found associated with a spore. A spore is something which will help it to the bacteria to overcome the adverse environmental conditions. Now, Clostridium is an example which has a spore. And in other cases, you also have a spiral shaped bacteria. Spiral shaped bacteria could be there, like Spirilla is there, Spirochete is there, and Vibrio is a type of spiral itself, not but we commonly called it as a coma-shaped bacteria. So generally, if you consider these all to be as spirals also, but we specifically say Vibrio is found to be comma-shaped, and Spirilla or Helicobacteria comes under the spiral-shaped one, but it is not much flexible. But spirochaetes, which do have internal flagella in between them, they are considered to be as highly flexible and they are considered to be as spirochetes. So I guess you got an understanding that what is the significance of the bacterial shape. In addition to the ones which I had mentioned earlier, sometimes you can also find some cocobacillary forms. That is, the coccus, that is, they would exhibit characteristics which are interbetween coccus and bacillus, and that's why we get cocobacillary form, and sometimes a palisade arrangement, as we have shown over here, or this is streptobacilli, as we had mentioned earlier, and sometimes budding and appendaged bacteria can be found. That it will be bacteria itself, but they would have slight elongations. Stalked bacteria can be present. Then sometimes, now this is a comma-shaped vibrio, and you can also have club-shaped bacteria like cornybacterium. Cornybacterium is referred to as the cuneiform or the Chinese pattern-like bacteria. Like they can form different shapes, and they are referred to as the cornybacteria is referred to as the cuneiform or the Chinese letter pattern bacteria. Then you can have coccroform, like in the case of Borrelia. Filamentous bacteria are there, spirochete are there. So bacteria do exist as in different shapes, and these different shapes are of much relevance. Now let me just show you a slide over here. This is the picture of Coxiella burnetii bacteria, which is showing it's the same organism which has been depicted in this picture, but you can see that it occurs in different what morphological forms. Okay, it is not now if you go to consider this bacteria or this bacteria, all the cells have a distinct morphology or a different shape. But in the case of pleomorphic bacteria, as we have shown here, Coxiella burnetii, a stable morphology is not present for the bacteria and it keeps on changing its shape. Such bacteria, which keeps on changing its shape, is referred to as the pleomorphic bacteria. And we quite come across different bacteria which are having which have been found to be pleomorphic in nature. Pleomorphism is the ability of a microorganism to alter their morphology, biological functions, or reproductive modes in response to environmental conditions. It could be different factors. It could be sometimes a food or any other factor, food or the environment based upon the environment in which, or sometimes salt mediated stress or something like that. Any component in the environment might change the morphology of the bacteria. Such bacteria are referred to as a pleomorphic bacteria. Now, Dinococcaceae is include like you have Dinococcus, radiodurans and all that, which is being found to be radiation resistant. All these bacteria show pleomorphism. Then you have Mycoplasma bacteria. They are also being found to be pleomorphic. They do not have a cell wall even. We will be talking about what is a cell wall later. And you also have Helicobacterium pylori, which has been which exists both as a helix-shaped form sometimes and also as a coccoid form sometimes. Then you have other members like Cornybacterium as well as Coccobacillus and Diphtheroid bacilli, which are being found to be of different shapes. And let me talk about bacterial size. The size of the bacteria is also being found to be very much different. Sometimes it will be very long. Now, in the case of Oscillatoria, it is a photosynthetic bacteria that is around having 700 nanometers, which is 7,000 nanometers, and it is of the size of about a RBC cell itself. And in the case, then we have E. coli, which has been found to be smaller. Then Streptococcus little more smaller, and then you have viruses which have been found to be smaller than that of the bacteria. So the bacterial size as well as the shape also varies. And if you go to look onto the large bacteria, you can have now One among the large bacteria is Epilopsium fischelsoni. It's a prokaryote and it is a gram-positive bacteria which is related to Clostridium. And you can see that it is having a size of about 200 to 500 micrometer in length. Now you just look this one is Epilopsium fischelsoni, and they have simultaneously kept a paramecium over here to show the difference in the size of it. And the largest bacteria which we have is the Thiomargarita namibiensis, which is a spherical bacteria. And it has mainly been discovered in Namibia, the coast of Namibia. And you can see that, yeah, this is a one, see, you can see this picture. This is an extension. Like you can see, it has been found associated with it. Okay. And Thiomargarita namibiensis, this is the microscopic view, and this is the macroscopic view of it. It has been found to be around 1,000 times larger than the Epilopsium fischelsoni. So these are the different types of bacteria, and based upon their shape, they are of different types. I hope you got a better understanding of the types of bacteria, bacterial shapes. Thank you for now.